One bright June morning, 3 years ago, I was reading my Kannada newspaper as usual. It was the day the secondary school leaving certificate results had been published. While columns of roll numbers filled the inside pages, the list of rank holders and their photographs took up almost the entire front page. I have a great fascination for rank holders. Rank is not merely an index of one's intelligence, it also indicates the hard work and perseverance that students have put in to reach their goal. My background, I was brought up in a professor's family, and my own experience as a teacher have led me to believe this. Of all the photographs in that morning's newspaper, one boy's snapshot caught my attention. I could not take my eyes off him. He was frail and pale, but there was an endearing sparkle in his eyes. I wanted to know more about him. I read that his name was Hanumantappa and he had secured the 8th rank. That was all the information I could gather. The next day, to my surprise, his photograph was published again, this time with an interview. With growing interest, I learned that Hanumantappa was a coolie's son, the oldest of 5 children. They belonged to a tribal group. He was unable to study further, he said in the interview, because he lived in a village and his father, the sole breadwinner, earned only rupees 40 a day. I felt sorry for this bright boy. Most of us send our children to tuitions and to coaching classes. We buy them reference books and guides and provide the best possible facilities for them without considering the cost. But it was different for Hanmantappa of Rampura. He had excelled in spite of being denied some of the basic necessities of life. While I was thinking about him with the newspaper still in my hands, I gazed at a mango tree in my neighbor's compound. It looked its best with fresh bark, tender green leaves glistening with dewdrops and mangoes that were about to ripen in a few days. Beyond the tree was a small potted plant that I noticed had remained almost the same ever since it had been potted. It was a calm morning. The air was cool and fresh. My thoughts were running free. The continuous whistle of a pressure cooker broke the silence, reminding me that half an hour had passed. Hanmantappa's postal address was provided in the interview. Without wasting much time, I took a postcard and wrote to him. I wrote only 2 lines saying that I was interested in meeting him and asked whether he could come to Bangalore. Just then, my father, ever a practical man, returned him from his morning walk. He read the postcard and said, "Where will he have the money to come so far? If you want him to come here, send some money for his bus fare plus a little extra to buy himself a decent set of clothes." So I added a third line to say that I would pay for his travel and some clothes. Within 4 days, I received a similar postcard in reply. Two sentences in the first, he thanked me for the letter. In the second, he expressed his willingness to come to Bangalore and meet me. Immediately, I sent him some money and details of my office address. When he finally arrived in our office, he looked like a frightened calf that had lost its way. It must have been his first trip to Bangalore. He was humble. He wrote a he wore a clean shirt and trousers, and his hair was neatly parted and combed. The sparkle in his eyes was still there. I got straight to the point. We are happy about your acco- academic performance. Do you want to study further? We would like to sponsor you. This means we will pay your fees for any course of study you wish to take up wherever it may be. He did not answer. My senior colleague who was in the office with me interrupted with a smile. Don't go at the speed of bits and bytes. Let the boy understand what you are suggesting. He can give us his answer at the end of the day. When Hanmantappa was ready to return home, he said in a low and steady tone, "Madam, I want to pursue my studies at the Teachers Training College in Bellary. This is the one nearest to my village." I agreed instantly but spoke to him a little more to find out whether there was any other course he preferred. I was trying to make it clear to him that we would pay the fees for any course he might choose. The boy, however, seemed to know exactly what he wanted. "How much money should I send you per month? Does the college have a hostel facility?" I asked. He said he would get back to me after collecting the correct details. 2 days later, he wrote to us in his beautiful handwriting that he would require approximately rupees 300 per month. He planned to take a room on rent and share it with a friend. The two boys would cook for themselves in order to keep their expenses down. I sent him rupees 1800 to cover his expenses for 6 months. He acknowledged my draft without delay and expressed his gratitude. Time passed. One day I suddenly remembered that I had to pay Hanmantappa for the next 6 months, so I sent him another draft for rupees 1800. This too was duly acknowledged, but I was surprised to find some currency notes in the envelope along with his letter. Madam, he had written, it is kind of you to have sent me money for the next 6 months, but I was not in Bellary for the last 2 months. 1 month our college was closed for holidays, and during the next month there was a strike, so I stayed at home for those 2 months. My expenditure during these months was less than rupees 300 per month. Therefore, I am sending you the rupees 300 that I have not used for the last 2 months. Kindly accept this amount. I was taken aback. Such poverty and yet such honesty. Hanmantappa knew I expected to no account of the money sent to him for his monthly expenses. Yet he had made it a point to return the balance money. Unbelievable but true. Experience has taught me that honesty is not the mark of any particular class, nor is it related to education or wealth. It cannot be taught at any university. In most people, it springs naturally from the heart. I did not know how to react to this simple village boy's honesty. I just prayed that God would continue to bestow the best on Hanmantappa and his family. Jai Hind.